everybody who is listening to this, everybody who's watching this, I have one of the most up and coming and one of the most talented and up and coming artists in the Spotify world, in all of music platforms. And he's actually one of my favorite former coworkers, and I really mean that. But everybody, we're in for a treat. This is the awesomely talented. This is my buddy Johnny, aka Online Lover. What's going on, Johnny? How are we doing from Los Angeles today?
I'm good. Life's great. Super sunny. Can't relate to the East Coast snow right now.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm having a good time, man. What's new? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has been a minute. So, for you who don't know, me and Johnny used to work at the casting depot, just about a year ago, and ever since then, I've just been doing little freelance things, and then the pandemic hits. So we've been discovering new things to figure out about myself, including this podcast, which has been definitely the biggest silver lining. But really, that's just been that. Looking for a new job and, trying to stay healthy out here. What's up with you? Since we last spoke, you go to the other side of the country. You're in LA. Why don't you
Yeah,
tell
what
me?
the hell?
Why don't you tell me first how you're doing, and then how did you wind up in the City of Angels?
Thing. Personally, I'm doing great. Just really trying to stay motivated, work on different projects and stuff, which we'll obviously be talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely didn't expect myself to move here this year of all years. Like it's just been a wild. 2020 has literally been like a blur from the beginning. So I'm super thrown off by the fact that I'm in LA right now. But life happens, things happen, and it just so happened to work out that I moved to LA this year. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And glad that amongst us you didn't get sick. I remember as like March, April was around the time where you moved. When did you move exactly?
I actually moved here in August.
August. Okay, but still
Yeah,
relatively soon from all the madness that was going on.
yeah,
And then I
definitely.
see were a real brave one. I assume you were you on a plane and everything to go over
Yeah,
there?
it's just like a like nonstop flight from New Jersey all the way to Los Angeles. It's like
No
5 hours, I
way.
think.
How
Don't
about that?
recommend flying during a pandemic. I really don't.
Well, you made it out here, huh? How about that? So, like,
COVID.
where in LA are you living right now? Out of all those cool neighborhoods there.
I lived in Venice my first month in LA, and now I live in like K-Town, which is like I guess more like city like. There's a lot of buses and like trains and stuff near
Hmm.
me, so it's easier to get around. And I don't know if it's just like a me thing, but people from the city, like I'm from the East Coast, cars aren't like essential. In LA, they very much are. So I'm like,
Really,
I wanted to move somewhere where I had access to public transportation and things like that, and didn't have to stress about driving anywhere because I don't have a car.
for sure. Like I've heard that that's one of the big things. Like if you have a car in LA, you got a real real treat. But hey, it's not stopping you from what you're doing. So
Not at all, not at all.
figure that out. So um as we mentioned, one of the things, you are a performer, Online Lover. You love to make your own music. I see you're great with TikTok, and all things. So before we get into that stuff, why don't you plug where we could first find all the cool stuff that you're doing, and then we'll obviously remind the audience at the end.
All right, so I just released my new single, like my boys talking about. It's called Cold to Touch. It just dropped last week
Hmm.
on the 30th, so it's really exciting. I'm happy that it's out, and like this is like a new era for me. I do have other music that's out already, but it was under like a different artist name and things like that.
Hmm.
I feel like Online Lover is something that I can like market a little bit better. So like taking advantage of that college degree and like trying to see what I can do with it.
Right,
Um,
right.
yeah, so it's just a new sound, just coming for like a whole new vibe for myself, and I've gotten a lot of like really positive feedback with it. But yeah, my single is on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. You can find it on YouTube. I do have a fun little project I'm working on with the single, so you guys will see that soon. Where I'm doing like a music video with like a bunch of my friends who just sent me clips of them, basically singing and jamming out to my like song and stuff. So it's gonna be a little music video. So that's really exciting. But yeah, it's already out on all these platforms. It's gotten playlisted for like a few playlists, which is really cool.
All right.
I'm definitely in like the queer, like LGBT realm of music. So
Mm.
there's a lot of like those playlists that have put my song to like be with other artists, which is really, really awesome. So I've got so much positive feedback. Yeah, it's really exciting because when you make projects like this, it's like your child. You're like so worried about what everyone's gonna think about it and what people are gonna say. And then when it's finally released, you're like, all right. Like I avoided like my phone for like the first like day or two of it being released because I didn't want to like just pay too much attention to numbers and things like that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
wanted it to breathe, I assume. And again, we can
Yeah.
find that at Online Music Lover on looking up all those platforms, Spotify, Apple Music,
Yeah.
YouTube. Great, great. Could you tell me if it's okay with you, if you wanna, I understand the creative process is what it is, but is there a certain inspiration to Cold to Touch?
Yeah, my horrible dating life is my inspiration for this song.
Oh,
Um, I really like just I took a nap, like a nice power nap. I woke up and I cranked out these two songs out of nowhere. So Cold to Touch being one, and another song which is still a work in progress, but hopefully going to be getting released really soon. Was another one. Yeah, I just love the way it sounds. The concept of it is basically me feeling like I'm undateable. Like I just like I don't know. Like I feel like I shouldn't be in the dating world anymore. Like I'm not someone that people can date and talk to and things like that. Just because of all these past like relationships kind of going to crap and
mm,
not doing really well. So the whole concept of that was like me dating someone, thinking that they were different from other people, and then finding out they're exactly the same as like people that have like broke my heart or things in the past. And then just yeah, what I do, like how I feel afterwards is like cold to touch. Like I feel like no one should be dating me or talking to me at this point. Like I should just be solo, which is like fine. Like go be single. You don't need no man, no woman.
hell yeah. I hear you. We don't need anybody to satisfy us. We can
Word.
love ourselves right here because, well, your song kind of touched literally touched me. Yes, pun intended on this one, because I've had myself have had quite a year dating. It's been I mean, not existed for one, but sometimes you feel like some of these stretches you have, you almost feel hopeless. And then when we have songs like Online Lover come in the clutch, or sensitive Drake music to help us get through those, but seriously, I mean, the song really does sound great. It's awesome production, really good lyrics, and you have an awesome
Yeah.
voice. So
Happened so fast. Like I said, I wrote this song, and then like I think later that night, a production studio or a recording studio near where I live at in Los Angeles
mhm.
DM me because I like followed them on Instagram.
All
I
right.
do have some friends that do make music in LA, so I've been reaching out to them like, hey, I want to like start recording my stuff. Do you know any good studios I can go to that are like not overpriced? Because obviously we're in a pandemic. I can't spend like $300 for like an hour session or something.
Right, right.
So yeah, I got recommended to like 3 or 4 studios. I followed them on Instagram, and then out of those four, like two of them messaged me, and they're like, "Hey, are you looking to record a new song?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, actually, I am." Like the one studio literally hit me up, and then within the night, I already paid like my deposit, and I was like, "All right, I'll see you tomorrow." Like I made a session spot and everything for the next day, and then recorded Cold to Touch within like a 2 hour recording session. So it was really, really fun.
Look at that. Well, again, congratulations, because I'm so excited to see where it goes, and definitely get some more eyeballs and listens from this show and others. And may I say something though? It was pretty brave of you, Johnny. So it's fair to say that you are in LA to pursue your music career, right? It's fair to say.
Music and acting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that when I was working with you, I was pursuing acting on the East Coast, so I
Oh
had an
yeah.
agent and stuff like that. But I mean, with the pandemic, auditions were like almost non-existent the first half.
Yeah.
So that was another big goal of mine. I know a lot of like TV and film production mostly happens in Los Angeles,
Right. Right.
so
It's
maybe I'll end up on like the newest like Netflix series in like a year or something like
hell
that.
yeah. You
That's like
please,
another big goal though.
please tell me the day when you booked that. I want to promote that. And yeah, I do remember you mentioning that when we worked at the casting depot. So yeah,
Yeah.
it seems that like Los Angeles, when it comes to filming, I mean, obviously there's other places popping like Atlanta and New
Yeah,
Orleans and Austin, but mostly like the majority is in Los Angeles. And I feel
yeah.
like more of the feature, nonfiction, scripted
Yeah,
stuff
the
is in
major like
LA.
Hollywood films and stuff are definitely like you can like there's so many studios in LA. Like driving past them, I get so excited because I'm like, oh, I
Yeah,
can't wait for the day where I have to like pull up to a studio and film like a
hell
pilot
yeah.
episode or something.
I can't
Yeah,
wait to see you pull that off too. And then yeah, like New York's a great place if you're more into like theater and stage and
yeah.
unscripted stuff. So
Yeah, which I was into like in undergrad and stuff, but I think career wise I definitely see myself doing more TV film. And I've always been a person who like I just have like multiple interests. Like
of
as a
course.
creative, there's people who like focus on like just music or just acting, just artwork. Maybe I'm like, yeah, I couldn't pick one thing. I'm doing 1,001 different things and yeah, it's because I love all of it. Like I love just being a creative in general. I don't have to like just do one single thing, one project.
Of course, and that's why I say that you're pretty brave and admirable because so many people talk to talk to say I'm gonna do that. You actually did it, and you did it in quite a. I might go as far as say some of the like dangerous times to really travel, but that's how much of
Yeah,
a. It's still
absolutely.
it's your dream to do it, and I'm really happy you're pursuing it. And would you say, and like if people are able to come up with the opportunity, if they're able to to afford it, would you suggest to people? I mean, no matter if they're the East Coast, if they're in Middle America, if they're in the
Yeah,
Great Plains states, would you suggest like go for it, go try it, and with LA, and you might even love the
yeah.
grind while you're
I
doing
feel
it.
like this whole move, like it found me more than I found like LA kind of thing.
Hmm.
That sounds so cheesy, but I came here in January for 6 days, right? It's my birthday. Came
Hmm.
with some friends, like just enjoyed LA, got to like really vibe it out for the first time. And this was also pre-COVID, so I got to experience like the nightlife scene and like the restaurants
Oh
and all
yeah.
the tourist stuff before like everyone had to wear masks everywhere. Um, so that was like my first eye opener of LA. And then I moved back I went back to New Jersey and I just kept thinking about it the whole time. So yeah, I was working till March and then they closed my store. I was working retail in
Hmm.
Manhattan. So they closed that store. And then, we got furloughed and we're just like, I'm just home all the time. So I was working on more music,
Right.
like looking at auditions. I was sending in a lot of self-tape auditions. There was no more like in-person auditions.
Hmm.
So just like utilizing my room at that time and like recording stuff. I was doing YouTube videos. I have like a YouTube channel too, which you guys will get linked to. So yeah, doing all that little like all those projects, and then my job like eventually called me and they're like, hey, so we can't keep you like in our staff anymore, basically. So they
Hmm.
let me go, and at this point I was receiving unemployment and things like that, so I really didn't like touch that money. Like there was nothing to do with that money anyway. Like I was just like it's just in my bank account, and I'm like I need to do something different in my life. Like my job just fired me. I was dating someone and that kind of like went to shit as well. So it was like
Hmm.
two negatives in like 1 week, and I'm like, wow, I need to like do something different. Like I just wasn't happy. Like you could just feel it. I'm like, ugh, I need like something to change like sooner than later. And
Hmm.
then I was watching a movie on Netflix called Work It, which is like no relation to Los Angeles whatsoever.
Yeah, I
But
know that movie.
yeah, but the concept was like this girl started a dance team because she just wanted to like get into like college and all this stuff. So just seeing the effort she put into like getting into like doing her dream, chasing her dream kind of thing, really spoke to me. So that same night, I started looking at jobs in Los Angeles, and I was applying for like the craziest stuff. Like the job I ended up getting was a resident assistant for a co-living house called Podshare, which is
Really?
like they rent out like bunks for people for like $50 a night, and you just live in this big house with like 30, 40 people basically.
No way.
So
So
they
you're
had
an
a
RA, huh?
program. Yeah, I was an RA, and I was an RA
Hmm.
in college, so that really like helped me stand out, I
Oh,
guess,
great.
when I applied. So they basically like you just clean the house, you do like reservations, check-ins, check-outs, things like that. So yeah, I applied for it, and the next day I get a phone call from a Los Angeles number, and I freak out because I'm like, oh my god, like I think it's like this like co-living house. So I didn't pick up. I let it go to voicemail, and I'm like, what if they want to offer me a job? And I hear the voicemail, and they're basically like, hey, we saw your application and your email, and we'd love to offer you a position, but you need to be here by Wednesday. And it was a
What?
Sunday. called me. So I had 3 days to like decide like, okay, am I going to LA or I'm staying like in New Jersey? Like, what am I doing? So I called my mom. I'm like, listen, this job just called me and they want to give me a position, but it's in Los Angeles and I have to leave Wednesday. And I was already living like 2 hours away from home because
Hmm.
like after college I moved to Jersey City and then
Yeah.
my family's back in Camden, so it was like we're kind of far. Um, so yeah, my mom's like, I mean, you don't have any kids, you don't have like anything holding you back. Like I'm done
Right.
school, I didn't have a job anymore, I don't have kids. So I'm just like, yeah, you're right, you're right. So I called the lady back and I'm on the phone and I'm looking at flights at the same time. I'm just like, so how does like 1 p.m. sound if I land there? And she's like, no, this sounds good, this sounds good. So yeah, so that was a Sunday. So Monday I drove back to my hometown, said bye to like my mom and stuff like that. Tuesday I drove back to my apartment in Jersey City and packed all my things and like sold everything. Like my room was like a full like room, and I had to sell my bed, sell like my TV, my Xbox,
Wow.
my piano, my recording equipment. Like I couldn't bring all this stuff with me to where I was
Mm.
moving, since I was going to be living in like a bunk bed basically, in exchange to be living in Los Angeles.
Right.
So yeah, I sold all that stuff, and then Wednesday morning I was on a flight to LA before I knew it. And I'm like, holy shit, like this happened like so fast. It was very emotional. Like I remember like literally crying when I found out I like was moving to LA. It was just so weird. Um,
Yeah,
but
no,
that's a ride.
that's a beautiful story, Johnny. Like, wow, I could imagine just you making a life change like a big
Yeah, it
life
was just
change
so
like that,
much emotion. Yeah, for sure.
and going to the other side of the country, literally see the shining sea, and
Yeah.
like I'm sure the culture shock too. I mean, we could go more to that right after this, but like it's not the East Coast. It's I'm
No,
sure
it's
it's a
not.
completely different animal. I've been in Los Angeles once. I went to there the first time last year and I loved it too. And yeah, like I said, I commend you. Not a lot of people could do that, and you're just go for your dreams, and you're not having that what if factor, and especially after your mom supported you, I'm sure that was the one of
Yeah,
the
it was like
big steps
a
too.
nice like, all right, just do it. Honestly, if she would have said no, I was still gonna go. Like with my mom,
Yeah,
I was just like, I feel like I should still ask her, like just like
right.
see what she would say. But she's always been like, just do whatever. Like I'm the only one in my family that has a college degree
Hmm.
and kind of like started chasing my dreams. So they support me whenever it comes to things like this. They're like, you know what? Why not? Like
Exactly.
you said, I don't want to have that what if factor. That was my big thing. I'm like, if I don't go, I'm just gonna keep questioning. Like, what if I did? What if this happened? What if that happened? So I was just like, fuck it. That was my like mentality. I'm just like, just do it, and whatever happens, happens. You know?
For sure, especially you don't want to be thinking that walkers through the slush, cold, and
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I hate
dampy snow that's about to be coming, and oh, pandemic in the pandemic tri-state area. Boy, again, I think you did the right thing. But could we talk about some things, L.A. versus New York?
Yeah, for
I
sure. Let's
want
do
to.
it.
So, what was your first day like when you arrived? You get on your big flight forever. This is the beginning of your biopic. There's some crazy song in the background. You land with the palm trees and everything. Tell me what it was like when you landed in LAX, I
So of
assume.
course, my theme song, moving like landing into LA, was "Part in the USA" by Miley Cyrus.
Good
Sure.
choice. Good
I
choice.
literally had like an LA playlist on my Spotify. It was just a bunch of songs about LA, and I was like hyping
Yeah,
myself up on this flight where like no one's socially distanced. I'm like, I could get COVID on this plane right now.
boy.
This one lady was like about to pass out because she had
Oh,
diabetes and like low blood sugar, and I'm just like, this is
oh.
no,
Well, I
I
hope
hate
she's all right.
flying. So yeah, that was like my theme song. But yeah, the first day I got to LA, I honestly worked. Like my job had to train me right away because I was like starting the next day. Like it was so like, so I didn't get to do too much my first day. But just kind of soak in the fact that I was in LA. Like there's a 3 hour difference
Right.
from the East Coast and Los Angeles. So when I got here, it was like 1 p.m., 2 p.m. I got like In-N-Out Burger, which was like the first stop because everyone was like, "You need to have this, you need to try this." And
Is In-N-Out Burger worth the hype?
um, yeah, it's pretty good. I would say it's pretty good.
Okay.
I did find another place that's like right around the corner from where I live, and it's called Monty's, and it's like a vegan burger place. I'm not
Monty's.
vegan or anything like that, but like when I say it's probably the best burger I think I've ever had in my life, like I mean it. Like I recommend everyone, vegan or not, try the burger. It's so freaking good.
Well, that's
So yeah, that's
interesting
like
then.
my go-to.
Okay, shouts to Monty's in LA. So so can I ask what are some of the differences between like the people of LA and like compared to the people of like New York, New Jersey? Are they more friendly? Are they more open? Or are they rude? Are they what? What are like the people like on the West Coast?
I feel like it's very similar to New York in the sense that like no one will bother you as long as you kind of like just do your own thing, mind your own
Right.
business kind of thing. I've met a lot of really, really dope people. Like I said, I lived in a house with like at least 30 people in it.
Mhm.
So one thing I noticed is that there are a lot more hippie like people in
Oh yeah.
Los Angeles than there are
Mhm.
in New York. I mean, people like skateboarding, everyone smokes weed. I'm just like, holy crap, like this is an adjustment. But everyone was really really chill, really nice to me when I first moved there. Um, I would say that like personality wise, everyone always says this, but like East Coast people are in fact more blunt.
Really?
LA people kind of like beat around the bush for like a lot of things. Like if there's an issue that you have with them, they're like, I don't know, they won't be direct about it basically. In
Yeah.
New York City, I feel like people are very much like true, like this is who I am and that's that kind of thing. And LA, yeah, it's always that. And I do get a sense that like it is pretty much about who you know. Like once people find out, oh, I'm just somebody from New Jersey, like I become slightly less interesting rather than like, oh, my dad's like a king or something like that. And they're like, oh my
The
God,
king
like,
of
hey,
Los
what's up?
Angeles.
Let's be best friends. Like suddenly they're interested in you.
Right.
But I feel like, yeah, in a sense of like urbanness, I don't know, New York just has that feeling a lot more than Los Angeles. And another thing, the way people walk, people in LA walk really, really slow. And I had to like adjust like my pace. I'm so used to like just speeding through New York City and like
Right.
Los Angeles is not the same when it comes to that.
I'm about to
So
say
that's
that
another thing.
that's aggravating as from the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you walking so slow?
I cannot stand slow walkers. Jeez, boy. How about the food? Is the food much different between New York and LA? Is it better?
Um,
Is it different varieties?
It's definitely a lot of varieties. Like I said, I live in Koreatown, so I'm surrounded by a lot of like Asian food, a lot of like
Hmm.
ramen, pho shops, a lot of like boba and like different things like that. It's really like based off of where you live at. I feel like New York is slightly more diverse in like locations.
Hmm.
I'm in K-Town, so I'm mostly surrounded by Korean people. But like if I was in like little Bangladesh, I'm surrounded by like Indian people, things like that.
Yeah.
So you can see the segregation between like different cities and like different parts of the city. So I would say like there's definitely a lot of food options, but they're never like within like a part of the town that isn't like you won't find like Korean food options and like Little Italy or something like that. You know, like
Hmm.
it's not like as mixed up, I would say. But there's definitely a lot of food. I also realized that LA is a healthier like place to eat. They people say that all the time. There's a lot of like vegan restaurants, like a lot of vegan restaurants in Los
Yeah.
Angeles. Just like plant-based stuff. People are very much about their health. And I live near Venice. So I live pretty close to Muscle Beach. It's like this big like hot spot in Venice where
Hmm.
people just work out on the beach. It's like a really famous like gym.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, you could just tell like people here are definitely healthier than like New York City people.
Hmm.
And I don't know what the reason of that. Maybe it's because it's like sunny all the time. People are just like ready to kickstart their day.
Right.
But I definitely felt like that energy change too. It was very sunny. Like for the first, it has not rained. I've been here since August and it has not rained yet.
How
It's
about that? Do you miss the
never.
rain? Low
Um,
key?
Sometimes I do. It rained once and I was sleeping. I like missed it. I was so prepared. I bought an umbrella like the day before. I'm like, yes, gonna get some rain. And then I woke up and it was sunny. I'm like, wait, what the hell's happening?
One
It's that,
One thing I noticed when I went to LA, that I went last October. It was crazy how the weather changes. Like sometimes you feel like the four seasons in one day, like the
Yeah,
like
accurate.
like the morning feels like a spring, like little dampy, not too freezing, but whatever type of feel. Then by the time you hit through the like hot, like the mid afternoon, it feels like a hot summer day anywhere. Then the early afternoon gets a little cool, like the fall, and then it could get like freezing cold in the winter. That was the
Yep.
vibe I got.
I had to like adjust my wardrobe so much since I moved here. Yeah, it's really hot in the summer, but then once it hits like late night, it's like you need like a hoodie and like a jacket because it's like 50 degrees, 60 degrees. I'm like, wait, what? It wasn't this cold, or like it's so weird.
It's also funny that 50 and 60 degrees is kind of cold. I would take a 60 and
Yeah,
50-degree now.
to me, I'm like, it's whatever. But people in LA, like, they pull out like the fur coats and like the North Face jackets, and like, it's only 60 degrees. I'm just wearing a
Right.
sweater or a hoodie, and I'm fine. But these people are like shivering. I'm just like, okay, like, yeah, it's snowing. I saw it snowing in like Jersey right now.
Yep.
I'm just like, yeah, that's cold. This is like nothing.
Oh yeah, they're it's we're really feeling it these last few days up here, and well, it's just gonna get colder. Hopefully, White Christmas though. I'll take that since none
Maybe. I
of us
mean,
could go out.
I feel like last year it didn't snow in December, so like
Yeah,
now that it's
barely.
like, okay, maybe this winter is gonna be a little colder than like the past.
They're gonna give us a great surprise, man. I'm sure, like when we worked at Casting Depot, when we would have to go to like LaGuardia High to give out flyers for Bestie Pigs
Yeah,
Bay in the freezing cold. I'm sure you don't. I mean, maybe it was worth looking back. Those were kind of fun, but
yeah, I
like you don't
like
miss the
those little
freezingness.
projects for the fact that like it wasn't like, well, for me, I wasn't paid. You were like a paid intern. I
Yeah,
wasn't a paid intern, so any little project we could do, like I was very much for. I was like, yeah, this sounds fun. And we're like passing out flyers to teenagers that don't want to be bothered after school, like
yep.
kind of thing. But I really
That was
did
a culture
enjoy.
shock to me.
Yeah, I enjoyed the rush of it. Running from like train to train, and like our bosses were like badass. I told them this
Hell
like,
yeah.
oh my God, y'all were like some badass chicks. Like they know they were though. They got things done. Um, I still in touch with Jenna and Lacey
Yeah,
recently because like I moved to LA and they have connections here. So I'm like, hey, if you know anyone looking for an intern, like let me know. I'm definitely
of
like
course.
looking to get back into that like casting, TV development stuff. So it's really cool like staying in touch with them and seeing like how they've been and stuff like that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, big fan of Lacey and Jenna. They were great. They're both my references still, and someone called on their behalf, and they did. So you know what's crazy? The week of the pandemic, I was interviewing for a full time job. The very
Yeah.
week, two full time jobs, and they were both my references, and they talked to the people, so I really appreciate that. But as I said, week of the pandemic, then it all hit, and I'll never know. I'll never know if I was gonna get it or that will be one of the craziest what ifs of my life.
Yeah.
But I'm not really. It is what it is, and I wouldn't have made this podcast out of it. That's been getting me back in the groove of things at work and showing off awesome people like you, Johnny, and just another way to keep me active and not have a gap in my resume anymore.
For sure. Absolutely.
So everything happens for a reason, and I know we keep grinding out and moving forward with it. So some more things just with LA that I'm just really interested with. Have you seen any famous people, Johnny?
Have I? I'm trying to think. Um, I've seen, who is this dude? He's in like American Horror Story, and he's like a meme. He's like this old gay man. He's really short. He has like this meme where he's like, "I'm a princess. I'm a princess." I forgot who he is. Um,
Oh, I have to. I don't watch American Horror Story, but that sounds hilarious. But you saw him?
yeah, he was like walking in the mall. That I work in like this really like bougie mall.
Oh,
So he's like hanging around there. Um, But that's probably like the only person I've seen. Like people are really low key in LA. Like you don't
yeah.
run into them. When I came here in January though, I went to West Hollywood to like the club scene over there,
Oh,
and Sam Smith was like in the same club as me. That was like what?
just
Like
clubbing regularly.
yeah, he was like with his like crew just dancing, having a good time. And I'm like, holy shit, that's Sam Smith. Like
Did you say what's up?
No, I was like scared and drunk. I'm like, I can't like approach this man. I'm gonna make myself look crazy. Oh
Man, wouldn't that be funny meeting one of your celebs, one of your favorite celebs
my
drunk?
god, I like flip out. Yeah, and then
I
otherwise, I've had like just people assistants of like celebrities like shop at my store. For example, I
oh,
just helped
cool.
Matthew McConaughey's assistant was like shopping at my store, and she was really really chill. And I'm just like talking to her about me moving to LA, you know, trying to get like the connect boss of
Right,
like,
of
hey,
course.
like my name is Johnny, I just moved here, what's up? So yeah, she's really really chill, really sweet lady. And we just talked about Matthew and like the work that he's doing right now, and
Fellow
yeah,
Matthews are great.
so I've met some assistants, but I haven't met like anyone like famous yet.
Hey,
Like
we all start somewhere, and you just got there,
yeah,
so I'm sure you're gonna add to that list.
for sure.
You know, I've had some funny with one of the things was talk with people who've met with celebrities, and it's just all the various things, both in New York and LA. Whether one,
Yeah,
my friend Jody, who met Lindsay Lohan, wanted to ask for her lighter to smoke a cigarette, and she said, "I don't want anything to do with you." There's that. I saw someone yesterday. I was talking to him at Jason Momoa,
yeah.
and he said, "You look familiar," and he said, "Cool story, bro." But then I've heard some really sweet stories, like someone told me about meeting Jimmy Fallon in the airport, and he was very homely and talked to him for a couple minutes, and
That's so
so it varies, with
yeah,
celebrity
that's so
encounters.
scary. I feel like for me, if I get to a point where like I have fans or anything like that, like these are people that admire your work and
Yeah,
like honestly just admire you as an artist, as a creative. Like you must have inspired them some like way, shape, or form. So to just like kind of like shoo them off or like disregard them like being excited to see you, like that sucks. Like I can't
for
imagine
sure.
me seeing someone I'm like obsessed with like creatively and then them just like, oh like ew, like don't come near me kind of thing. Like, wait, what? Like no, if I see someone, especially when I'm like starting out, like oh yeah, I'll take a picture with you. Like I'll sign whatever you want me to sign. I don't care.
Absolutely. It I understand where people high profile come from. They do probably get it on the reg, and
Yeah,
it is part of life. But nothing hurts with you say hello or hi. Like a
yeah. I would
smile
at
goes a
least
long way for a regular
say,
person.
yeah. I think it's like time and place too. Like obviously, if I'm
For
like
sure.
out eating like people, I don't really want to be bothered. But I'll still say hi. I'm not gonna be like completely say something rude and like kind of turn them off from like liking who I am as a person. I'm not gonna switch that up. You know.
Definitely, definitely. I hear you. Is there a dream celebrity that you would love to meet, or couple celebrities,
A
assuming
dream
they would
someone.
be, assuming
I have
they're
a
nice?
list, a full list.
Who's part of the list?
Emma Watson's a part of that list.
Oh
Ryan
yeah.
Reynolds. Definitely want to meet Troy Sivan,
All right,
Isaac
all right.
Dumbar, Conan. I want to meet Sam Smith again. Like I feel like that was like a misconnection. Like
Oh,
uh,
you have
so,
a reason to talk to him now.
yeah, I'm like yeah, I ran into you, but like not really ran into you at some point.
I love Conan too. I've Conan on, as you see my wall in the studio, as a bunch of people who inspire me, and I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
Conan
yeah.
on the side. So
Yeah, that's my boy. I saw him. He did like a live show on MTV, and I was like, I'm in the video. Like the top of my head is in the video on YouTube,
is
so
it really?
that's exciting.
No
And I
way.
seen him in concert. So yeah, just like I really want to meet like those people. They're big influences on like who I
For
am like
sure.
creatively, and a lot of my music tastes and stuff like that come from them. Um, yeah, there's like a few people to name.
Can I ask you, now being LA, and this is definitely for the post-COVID world,
Yeah.
LA has just so much stuff to do, man. Just so many landmarks. Do you have a little bucket list of places you want to go? Maybe some clubs you want to see too? Like, that's one thing that sucks about New York. All the famous clubs are all either
Like
closed or about to be
now.
closed.
Yeah.
But like LA, it seems all these clubs, I assume they're still out there. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of the Viper Room.
I haven't heard of that
Yeah.
one though.
There was it's this awesome like club. It's this awesome club that Johnny Depp once owned, and I actually went by it, and just the line was a little too long. I was down to stay in the line, but my friends were
Yeah.
impatient. But it just looked like this legendary club and stuff like that I wanted to check out. But hopefully the next time I go. But do you have any, whether it's a famous place to have fun or another landmark? Are there places you're trying to hit up on your bucket list while you're now in
Um,
LA?
there's definitely a lot of stuff right now. I think my biggest thing is just reminding myself to just be patient.
Right.
'Cause, yeah, it's kind of boring right now. There's not too much to do, and the fact that I moved here and I know like when I moved here, I knew like three people probably like
Hmm.
max. So that was like scary. I don't have family here. I barely have like I don't have close friends here. I have people I like know really well. Now I have like a few close friends after like hanging out with them a few times.
Good, good.
I really moved here just like on my own kind of thing. So I use a lot of like dating apps and stuff to network. But yeah,
Hmm.
when it comes to like clubs and stuff, I did a lot of the tourist stuff when I came here in January. Like I was here
Yeah.
for 6 days, so I hit up like Santa Monica Pier, like the
All right.
Hollywood like Walk of Fame, Griffith Observatory, like all the like the hiking stuff I did. LACMA, like there's a bunch of like tourist stuff you can definitely check out in LA. Um, but yeah, I think now that like things are like I'm used to being here, I definitely adjusted really fast to life in LA. Well, first I was like waking up at 7 a.m. every day because of 3 hour difference. So it's
Right.
like 11 p.m. East Coast time, 7 a.m. I'm like ready to start my day in Los Angeles. I'm like, what is this?
Hmm.
But yeah, I've definitely hit up a lot of places I already wanted to check out. Once clubs and stuff open, I'm looking forward to that because I feel like that's kind of where I thrive more as like a introvert extrovert, I guess. Like when I'm in like a club
Yeah.
scene, I'm really good at socializing with people, but like at work or in a club scene, I'm kind of just like to myself. So I'm hoping that once things open up, I'll be able to meet just a whole bunch of new people. There's so many creatives in LA. I just need to like find access to that, like literally find out where these people hang out and just put myself out there more. Everyone's kind
Right.
of like it's really hard to meet people. I've been on like dating apps and stuff like that, and a lot of people don't. There's nothing to do like date wise. Like all the restaurants just closed in LA last Wednesday,
I saw that.
so there's this. It's just like COVID's kind of like on a rise here. It's kind of hard to put yourself out there unless you just like do it through text. But I feel like I'm definitely more of like a person to person when it comes to like getting to know someone. I can't really know someone over like a text message. So
Right. Well, at least you did the hard part and all the moving and stuff.
yeah, oh my
And,
gosh.
and like you said, we just have to be patient and do this out. This vaccine, they're starting to distribute it, and
Yeah,
hopefully this can at least get us to if we could just have a more regular summer than last summer. Oh man,
that's like
that
the goal. I
right,
told myself I'm giving myself at least a year. And yeah, just constantly reminding myself not to be hard on myself because I've been here since August. It hasn't been that long, but I'm also just like I feel like if COVID wasn't around, I would probably have like an agent by now and would have been
right.
doing more auditions and things like that. Um, I know January is like pilot season in Los
Yep,
Angeles, so I'm like hoping that COVID turns around before pilot season, where like they start filming like first episodes for shows that they pitch. Um, I definitely want to try to get auditions for that stuff, and yeah, well, we'll just see. Yeah, it's definitely it's not the same like compared to like
mhm.
earlier this year when I came to LA for the first time.
Well, we believe in you. We all believe in you. I know your patience is gonna be rewarding you for that.
For sure.
And why don't we go into a little more of the acting, the bug? We've touched your music, we've touched your new home. Now with
Yeah,
acting itself, as you said, you've um you've had some experience, did some projects already. Now you're checking it out the West Side,
yeah.
the West Coast. You're in Hollywood. So as you said, COVID obviously is making the process a little more. You have to be transitioned about it.
Yeah.
Um, but as soon as this is done, and we can find first, do you have stuff online, little sketches or videos and stuff that we can
Um,
see?
Nothing online at this moment. I've done like a lot of stage acting,
Okay,
and like a few short films. I've done some music videos. I could probably link you guys to like a music video I'm in.
for sure, for sure.
Nothing with like a leading like role right now online. A lot of my stuff, yeah, like I said, was like theater, basically in like the East Coast, and then some
Yeah,
like background work. Um, but I did like audition for like a bunch of like big films. I don't know if anyone knows like In the Heights. I
of
auditioned for
course.
that movie. That was
Did
my
you
first
really?
like, in-person audition, and I went to like Broadway to do it, and it was like the most nerve-wracking thing I think I've ever done in my life.
What was
Um,
that this is your audition for the actual movie that's coming out next year,
yeah, the
right?
movie that came out. I auditioned for the role of Sonny, who's like the younger brother, younger cousin
Oh
of
yeah, I
the
actually In the Heights is my favorite show. The original Sonny Robert De Jesus is
yeah.
from my hometown, actually, when in my high
Oh,
school.
dope. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So you
Yeah.
auditioned for that role, huh?
It's super funny. It just like literally like I was talking with my friend. I worked in a rec center in college for a little bit, and she came to visit, and we were talking about stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, In the Heights is doing casting for like this new movie. Like, ugh, I want to get an audition so badly. And this was before they kind of made the audition, like a national audition. So
Yeah.
the next day, I get a text from my agent. He's like, "Hey, so I got you an audition. It's like a really, really big role." And I'm like, "Oh my God, like what could it be?" And lo and behold, it was like for Sunny for In the Heights, and I like freaked out, like literally like
No
got
way.
so excited because I was like, I was just talking about this yesterday, and I'm like a firm believer that like I believe in fate and like everything kind of
Same.
happens for a reason, kind of thing. So the fact that I was just talking about this yesterday, and now my agent is like, hey, I got you an audition for this
Right.
movie. I'm like it's meant to be. This is my role. It wasn't my big break. I didn't get the role, but just the fact that I got to audition was like super super
Of
exciting.
course, and exposing yourself to those casting agents and
Absolutely.
producers,
Yeah.
it's all a start. It's all a working experience, and I'm proud of you for
Yeah.
that. Congratulations. So with that, so obviously you have some credibility to audition for these big projects. Are there any other cool auditions that you auditioned for?
So yeah, I did that audition. I've done. Uh, there's a movie called Monster Hunter that's coming out, based off the video game. So I auditioned for
Mhm.
that movie.
All
I
right.
auditioned for some like TV shows. A show called Happy. I auditioned for another project by Lin-Manuel Miranda called Tick Tick Boom.
Oh yeah,
It's
based on the writer of Rent did that.
Yeah, so I auditioned for that movie as well. That was another like a Broadway audition. Um, so yeah, just a whole bunch of small like stuff, small projects. I did get my first like TV gig in LA. It wasn't like a speaking role, but I got to play a soccer player, which is like really really fun.
All
And
right.
it's for this competition where they did 6 feet apart. It's like a short film competition. So these directors submitted scripts to be selected, and each winner got like I think 50K to like produce their own short film. So I found a role for it online, and I applied for it. They emailed me like, "Hey, come in and be like background or support us on this project." So that was the first like gig I did in LA. So yeah, I played a soccer player, and the lead actress and actor, they're both and like projects that are like pretty known right now. So the lead actress, I think her name is Rain Edwards. She's in Snowfall on FX, and I think on Hulu.
Look
And
at
then the
that.
other guy, he was in this new new movie on Netflix. I'm trying to think of the name of it, but it's like about a band. He's like a ghost kind of thing.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so
Cool, cool.
I can't think of the name of it, but yeah, he's like the lead actor in that. So like they were both on the set that day, and like I got to interact with both of them. So yeah, when that movie comes out, I'm sure to get it got like a article in like the Hollywood Reporter already and things
Okay,
like
so it's
that.
pretty
So
so
I'm
it's
like,
got some
okay,
ground.
yeah. So who knows? Maybe someone's gonna see that and be like, you know what? I really like that soccer player. Like we need him in our next project.
Oh yeah, there's
You
hundreds
never
of thousands
know.
of examples like that, and what's great, but the gist I'm getting and what's great to hear is you are starting, even in this pandemic, you're figuring
Yeah,
out how to get eyeballs on you, and you're really you're not tying yourself down. You're going to all these little things, and every
absolutely.
little thing you never know. You're building your resume. This is so cool. I'm so excited for you, Johnny. I really am. This is cool because I know it's harder for people to find work like that, and you're finding work. Especially, I've known people who moved to LA and New York who haven't booked a thing, and they're there for years for whatever reason. And
Right.
in what August, in less than 4 months, you're already in short
Yeah,
films
that's
and
how I
getting
looked at it like
auditions.
that. I'm like, listen, I just moved here in August, and like, it's not a big role, but it is in a movie. It is like pretty big actors. It's getting like this buzz on the Hollywood
Yeah.
Reporter. So that those are all really good things. So I'm just giving myself credit wherever like I can because
You
like you
deserve
said,
it.
it's really hard to get anything right now. When I moved here, I did have like a whole game plan for like my whole acting like transition from East Coast to West Coast. So back in New Jersey, I had an agent and things like that.
Mhm.
But because I moved to LA, they could no longer represent me because
Right.
most of the sides and stuff that they got were always for like New York City like castings and things like
Yep.
that. So when I moved to LA, I didn't have an agent anymore. So the first thing I did was like take new headshots, which is
Right.
really really cool. I met a photographer in Los Angeles and worked with him. Super talented dude. Um, and then yeah, revamped my entire resume, and now I'm just waiting. Once January hits, I'm gonna start submitting to like agents and things like that. Right now, I'm just giving myself some more like chill time and just looking for stuff on my own. So I use backstage and actors
Yep.
access to like find gigs. Funny enough, you know how we used to cast for Bestie Picks Bay?
Oh yeah. Very much
They
so.
messaged me on like a backstage, like, hey, if you want to like be on this show, like respond to this message. And I'm just like, I literally used to cast for this show. And I was telling backstage, I want to be on the show.
That's
That was great.
hilarious.
Yeah. I didn't apply for it. I should have, but I was just like, I'm good.
For sure. I know the next time you'll grab those up to make up for it. But that's just it's just I really appreciate you being honest and expressing this because I feel a lot of people think it's as easy as going to LA and like applying
Oh
to a
man,
job and
no
no, because I've
way.
actually yeah, you were saying?
I've actually like personally, I've gotten so many no's. Not even no's. People just don't tell you. You go into an audition,
Hmm.
and when you leave, like my best like advice for people when they leave an audition is don't think about the audition. Like do
Yeah.
whatever you can. Stay busy. Honestly, like just try to like pretend it didn't happen kind of thing. You'd be surprised like what you can get on like even your worst day. Like I got a really nice commercial gig for like a pharmaceutical ad one time. And it was like freshman move-in for like my college. So I was like working that whole day.
Hmm.
I was running tight on schedule. I didn't get to shower before my audition, so I felt disgusting, and I had to like commute to New York after working basically since like 6 a.m. It's like 2 p.m. at this
Wow.
point. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I go in, they take photos of me, they make me do like some line really fast, and then I leave. And I left, and I literally like so like spoke out loud. I talk to myself all the time, but I'm like, that was fucking terrible. Like I'm literally telling myself as I walk up, that was the worst audition I've ever done. Um, and as soon as I get home, they're like, hey, we have you on our callback list. Just keep an eye on your email. We might like select you to be a part of this project. So I'm like,
Look at that.
awesome. Like I'm on a callback list. This is great. Um, and then a couple days later, I get another email like, "Hey, we got you got the gig. Like, we're excited to have you on board. We're filming on this date, and the day they were filming was my birthday." So I just like, what? Such a small world. Then the story gets really dark because yes, I got this gig, but then like shit kind of happened with my family.
Hmm.
So I had to decline the gig, which is like heartbreaking. I can be transparent about this, but like just to show you guys that shit does happen in people's lives. The same week I got this gig and was really excited, my younger brother passed away, so I had to
I'm
like
sorry to hear that.
drop
Wow.
everything. I was in my last semester of college, and yeah, I just dropped school for like 2 3 weeks. I was back home, trying to figure out like funeral stuff and all. Like it was just so much happening. Like I went from like so excited, like up here for getting this gig, and then life happened, and I'm like, well, shit. Now I have to like kind of pick up the pieces and decide. Like a lot of people were messaging me like, are you going to drop out of school? Are you going to like just stay home, move back home? And I literally went so far already to get to where I was. Like I was in my last semester. I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
commencement is so close. Like you just have to take like these 5 classes to survive this semester. Um, but yeah, getting news like that for any like type of death and like a family is
Yeah.
like shocking. Like I didn't know how to process it. So yeah, I went from telling these people like I'm excited, I'll be a part of this role, to switching it up to, hey, unfortunately, I can't take this role because X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So yeah, always I think the biggest thing is like putting yourself first. A lot of people are like, well, why'd you drop the role? You should have still did it. And I'm like, mentally, like I haven't had like a death like that in my family before, so like it hit me pretty hard, especially when it's like your younger sibling. You're like,
Yeah,
wait, what? Like it didn't make sense to me. Um, so yeah, I did at that time what was right for me mentally, and my agent and stuff, they were very supportive about that. They understood where I was coming from. My professors and all my friends were very supportive as well. So super grateful about that, and like I was able to pass, get through it. It's also like weird because it's like around my birthday. So like I'm turning 23, no, 22. I was turning 22 and there's just so much happening at the time. So I'm like, I didn't really celebrate that year. And yeah, I'm turning 24 next month. So we're
wow.
getting to like 2 years of like him passing and things like that. So just like, that was like a big reminder for me too, to just kind of keep chasing my dreams and do like what I got to do to get where I want to go. Like I feel like no one's gonna open a door for me. Like maybe someone like will finally open a door for me, but at the end of the day, like my struggles are like my struggles, and like my life is my life, and no one can change that or like shift anything. Like what I've gone through, like people can never relate to. And if they do relate to
Yeah,
it, I'm more than happy about that. I think my biggest thing as like a creative, besides the fact that like I honestly love music, art, acting, like all these things, I really want to make it like my full-time job. I just want to do this for the rest of my life. Is that I want to kind of open a door to like possibility and just let people know like shit, you can like chase your dreams, you can get a lot of things done no matter what like your circumstances, because I don't know. I feel like with like, politics and the way the world is right now, once you like grow up in some type of environment, you're just assumed to be like stuck in like that part of your life or whatever. So yeah, I feel like with like his death and stuff, it really just motivated me to just keep going. Like I have so much stuff I want to prove and like do. So that's what I'm working on right now. And yeah, that's a big motivator. I feel like people always wonder, like, for a creative perspective, what's like, I guess my the steps I take or things like that. And it's really just like constantly reminding myself of like where I've come from versus where I am like at this very second in my life, which is like LA. What? Me and my brother always talk about this. My older brother, he's like, dude, you live in LA. I'm like, I live in LA. What? How did that happen? Like, it's so weird.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, first, Johnny, I didn't know that about you. I'm sorry to go through that. And again, like, my condolences for you and your family, and just all the respect to you. And you, I see why you really push for it. I mean, I think this it's fair to say that going through something like that shows you that we can't take life for granted. And do you feel
Absolutely.
like the death of your brother is probably your ultimate motivator? Before, if anytime you want to give up, you think at the end of, do you think about your brother as that ultimate
Oh,
push?
absolutely.
And I'm sure he's with you this whole way. I mean, I know he's with you this whole way, but do you
Yeah.
feel he is your ultimate motivator?
Yeah, I feel like just everything I'm doing in my life, I kind of do things that I know that my family probably won't ever get the chance to do. Like my
Mhm.
sisters were like teen moms, they had kids. My brother like took the military route. He's like a sergeant in the military, things like that. So then like going to college, none of them did that. So did I like college? Hell no. I hated school. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, this is the worst thing ever. But I still went through my 4 years because I wanted to be that person to open that door of possibility to like my cousins and my little like nieces and nephews that like, listen, you can go to college. Don't let no one tell you otherwise. Like my hometown is so there's so many people who just don't do anything. They graduate high school, some don't even
And which
graduate high
hometown is
school.
this? Which hometown is this?
Camden, New Jersey.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, so most people, if you haven't heard about Camden, you can Google it. It doesn't have the best reputation, but I think because of that, people kind of shine a bad light on it. But then there's people like me, and I know a bunch of other people from Camden to college and got shit done and like are out here like doing their thing. So I love that so much because it says a lot. So my biggest thing is just showing people that listen. I went to college. You can go to college. I'm pursuing like music and acting. You can pursue these things. Like don't let
Yeah.
anyone tell you you can't. And once I make it, it's gonna be like all the worth, like more wild. Cause like not only am I saying you can pursue these things, but like and things can happen. Like your dreams will come true. Like don't give up, kind of thing. So for me, yeah, him passing away, uh, it was just reaffirming for me that like I need to just keep going. Like as much as I wanted to just stop school and just like be there for my family and stuff, um, I just kept going. I was supposed to move to LA that summer that he passed away,
Mhm.
and I stopped. Like I had an interview for JVC, which is like the Jesuit volunteer course. I was gonna come to LA and volunteer like a local like community shelter, things like that,
Mhm.
for like 2 years. And I was like, my game plan to move to Los Angeles was gonna be doing the volunteer work. But yeah, I was like mid interview process and then he passed away and they kept calling me for my like final interview and I just told him like, listen, this happened right now. I really don't, I didn't think it was a good time for me to leave across the country when my family was going through like
Right.
all of this like, trauma at the time. Yeah.
So man, this is I didn't well, I always knew you were an inspiring dude, Johnny, even when we met, but this is really I appreciate you being so honest and I appreciate
Absolutely.
you being brave enough to share that with us a lot. And thank you for that. And again, I'm in your corner this whole way. I know so many people would, coming from Camden, New Jersey, with any challenges that came from to now you're in Los Angeles, California. I mean, already,
Yeah.
but even pre that, doing your thing in Manhattan, it,
Yeah.
it, it really shows that don't do you discouraged. Be your own fan and also be patient with it, man.
Absolutely.
Oh boy, Johnny, I want to just throw fireworks the day you get your big break, man. And and I can't wait to show you off with this. So thank you for that. And do you have any other great words of wisdom for your advice for anyone who's going through a challenge or struggle, especially in 2020, where it seems to be the year of the struggle?
Yeah,
And
oh
then
my God,
some.
dude. It's insane. My biggest thing, like what I thrive off of is just for one, like I said, I know my life, other people don't know my life. Like you know your struggles, people don't necessarily know all of your struggles. Like, yeah, my brother
Right.
passed away, but that's like one like sliver of the cake. Like there's a whole bunch of other shit that's happened that
Yeah.
has like kind of shaped me into who I am today. Um, but my biggest thing is like once you find those people who like support you, like stick with those people, like don't switch up on them. Um, and if you're watching this and you're wondering, well, I have like so many friends that do all these things creatively, like what can I possibly do to like support them? Literally the most minimal thing. Like I tell my friends, like they ask me, "Oh, what can I do like to help you with like, your new single?" Just share it. Like just tell other
Right.
people about it. Like it's the smallest thing, and like sometimes it sucks because like you do put out all this work and stuff, and like if you look at my YouTube channel, I've been making covers for like 4 years. Like it's not something I just started doing. Like I've been making music and like singing and acting and stuff
Yeah.
for a while. It's just really trying to get those people to genuinely support me, not because like they're doing me a favor, but because like they're actually interested in like the work that I'm doing.
And actually
So
believe
yeah,
in you
my
too.
biggest advice, yeah, when you find those people, just like stick with them. I have like friends that like hear my singles way before anyone else hears the singles, and I'm like, listen, I'm working on this song. What do you think about it? And finding mentors. If you need someone to motivate you, literally DM me. I don't care. Like message me. I don't have to know you, and I'll still like I'll critique your work. I'll give you an honest opinion.
And that would
If you
be
need
at
to share,
online lover, right? If we want to DM you for
yeah,
that.
Online Lover Music is all my at names.
Okay.
So feel free to just like hit me up, DM me, and I'll like critique your work. I'll support you because like I just know how hard it is. Like I've been putting stuff out, and sometimes it gets no feedback, and I'm like, dang, like that like kind of flopped. I was hoping for more like of a reaction to it. But yeah, I think like even with a reaction or without a reaction, at the end of the day, I'm doing stuff that I enjoy doing, that I love
Yeah,
doing. So no matter what, like just keep mindful of that. And yeah, just don't be hard on yourself. Like we're in a pandemic. Like the fact that you're even putting out projects is pretty good. Like there's people
for
who are
sure.
like using this time and just watching Netflix. I was one of those people for a while. Like I was
Same here.
like you have to like just find your groove, get into that, and just don't fall off track. Like make notes. I have like so much like unfinished songs and things like that. Like I carry my phone everywhere. I have like a notebook. I like write lyrics like in work. I'll
Of
help a
course.
guest and just start writing lyrics out. Like I just take advantage of like kind of every second of the day. Um, yeah, and just stay motivated. Like don't give up. There's so many people like who have stories like this. Go on YouTube, watch those stories. Like
Oh yeah.
see what people are doing. I think my biggest motivator is like hearing where other people come from, and it literally like gets makes me like want to get off my ass and like yeah, just go do stuff, go knock things out. So that's why I wanted to really come on here too. When you were like, oh, like I kind of want to interview you, I'm like, yeah, I'm down because I know my story and I know like a lot of people can relate to it because it is pretty real. Like there's so many like famous people and celebrities who go
Right.
into like the world who honestly like didn't have to work for much. Like their mom and their dad or X, Y, and Z. So they have this magical golden door open them from the moment of like conception. Like these people are like
Oh, we
already
can you can
stars and
make a list
they're
about
not even
that.
born yet half the time too. So I'm like, dang, no one in my family is like that. No one has this golden door. So the way I look at it is like I need to be the one to make that golden door, which is why I went to college. So when my cousins have to apply for like FAFSA and like student loans and stuff, I can help them out with that, you know?
Yeah.
The same thing, me moving across the country, I've had so many people, which I love this, that I don't even know. Like I'm super friendly. You can DM me, I don't have to know you, that have asked me like, okay, so I saw you moved all the way to Los Angeles from New Jersey. What like asking me questions like similar to you, like what was that like? Like how's it been? How'd you make that happen? And
Right.
I'm so open to just sharing like how it happened. I feel like a lot of people in these like higher positions or like who are out here doing things don't share like their connections, don't open doors, don't like extend the branch and like the roots and things like that. Like I feel like for me, I always tell my friends like if I make it, we're all gonna make it. Like I have
Yeah,
friends
you
that
have
like
to pay it forward.
music, friends that do acting, friends that are like artists, dancers, fashion like models, things like that. And I'm just like I want to open a door for you too because why if you have the chance to, why would you just let other people struggle? Like I think it's so like I don't know, like selfish and
Yeah.
I'm never like that. Like if I needed help, I know that there are people out there that are willing to help me. So and I know like we know how hard it is to get anywhere in life. Like so I'm
Yeah.
not gonna sit here and pretend that I can't offer you any assistance, even if it's like the most minimal thing. Like I'll help you out. I don't care.
Yeah, why not? Why not you? Why not them? We need to be
Yeah,
more encouraging instead of pushing people down because at the
yeah,
end of the day, we really need somebody to vouch for us to get to opportunities. We need somebody to share music to the right person. We need
absolutely.
somebody to share our reel to the right person. And then we have to do the exact same thing when it works out for us because then we're
Yeah,
just a hypocrite with that. And
absolutely.
seriously, Johnny, we need more people like you and being so open and honest and willing to help. And like that's what I do with this podcast too. And I mean, the point is when I do these conversations or interviews, it's to show not only me, it's not sorry, it's to show it's not only for me to show how creative I can be with showing these guests. It's not only about showing the listeners how cool you are. It's for yourself to show how cool you are and so interesting. I got this idea from there's various reasons, but just
Yeah,
talking to so many people who think they're boring, I was like, you know what? No, I want to show this because eventually I want this podcast to keep growing. We're still grinding every day, and this has been my, baby with that. And one day I would love to interview celebrities. I'm not going to lie to you. Celebrities or high profile people. But
absolutely.
I still need to get to a level of influence to get that. So why not just show the celebrities and regular people, honestly, and show how cool and interesting they are, you
Yeah,
know, up and coming musicians to people making their own content no matter what your background is. That's my purpose with this show as I continue to create content and grow my resume. So I appreciate people like you expressing that and believing in yourself. And I really believe we could get other people to believe in themselves. And then we've done our job. And then we just also show you how cool you are. And I hope you've been having a good time with it because I really have been.
yeah, for sure. This has been good, like chatting with you. I don't really like sometimes you just kind of live life and you don't process things or think about things. So even chatting with you is like reminding me of a lot of things in myself that I'm like, yeah, I did get through that. Yeah, I did do
Yeah.
this. Because I'm not gonna lie, like there are days where like I feel really confident about myself as creative, as a talent, like things like that. And then there are days where I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, why am I still like chasing this like dream? Like, what the hell? I'm about to be 24. Like, there's so many weird like things in life right now, and like I don't know what I'm doing. Like every day I wake up, I'm like, like is this the right path? But that's so like natural to just feel that way all the time. Um, but once you do get like those milestones and getting things done, like you feel amazing. Like me moving to LA, like I said, I literally cried because I was like, this is amazing. This is such a, like a big goal of mine. Like when I was
Yeah,
like a little kid, always thinking of like what it would be like to live in Hollywood and blah blah blah. And like
you could say you've
it's
done
so
it.
exciting. I know I'm gonna feel the same way when I get like that first like TV role or get like my first like I don't know record deal or something like that. Like there's so many different like milestones I still want to hit and achieve. Um,
Yeah, we're still
yeah,
hungry. This is just the beginning for us. We're still grinding. We have a lot
absolutely.
of way to
Yeah.
go, and we're only getting better for it. But I didn't mean to cut you off with that. But is there anything else you're about to say with that?
No, it's pretty much it. Yeah, I just like everyone starts somewhere, and it's just a constant reminder, like that this life, like dude, everyone has something that they're going through, and yeah, I just like to remind myself sometimes of like where I was versus where I am today, and like just keeping those goals and that vision like pretty clear for myself is definitely really helpful.
We're gonna win, Johnny. We are going to win eventually, one way or
Sure,
other. We just what's gonna work is we're not afraid of rejection. We are patient, and as long as we continue to be kind and work hard at grind and make ourselves better, good things are gonna happen. And I
absolutely.
definitely know that, especially with you, Johnny. Seriously. So just
I
a few more
appreciate it.
things before we wrap it up. I want to just to make it a little. We talk about some real ass stuff for the last few minutes, but it's
Yeah.
always great. So just from lighthearted things to get some laughs. Johnny, tell me when was the last time you laughed really hard?
Last time I laughed really hard. Oof. I'm not that like sad. Jesus. Um, I don't know. I can't think of like the last time I've laughed
Or like a time
like
recently you laughed really hard.
um probably like at work. I kind of laugh at like stupidity. Is that like weird? Like
Of
I'm at
course
work. I
not.
work in
I laugh at
retail. You can
I.
imagine the amount of people I've seen like in retail right now, especially holiday season. There's a pandemic. Um, I think it's just there's something that people do that just make me crack up. I don't know. There's nothing like significant like that like stood out where I'm like, oh my god, that's hilarious. Because I feel like I literally just go to work and I go home. But there are things like interactions I have with guests that like I like crack up about sometimes. So
Do you, whether it was in New York or Jersey or here with work, have you, because I actually worked in retail too.
yeah,
Um, and I know exactly what you mean with the, quite frankly, some dumbass customers. So,
literally,
like for instance, so I worked at Kohl's. I worked at Kohl's for 7 years. If, I don't know if you're familiar with it. You ever heard of Kohl's?
yeah, I've heard of Coles.
So we have the damn Kohl's cash where people generally believe it's actual cash. And when I say no, I'm an asshole to them, give reports. I remember once, Johnny, so my store would have cops come to it all the time. People would steal all the time and get caught.
Yeah.
And this customer was not accepting Kohl's cash. And he just happened to catch the cop and he asked the cop to, hey, you need to come over here for this. I guess the cops doing their duty, and the cop was just laughing. Like, you essentially told the cops we're not accepting your Kohl's cash that's expired.
That's terrible.
There's that. I remember someone gave me an old Navy card. I can't accept it because it's an old Navy
Yeah.
card. No, you can accept this now.
Yeah, I had someone come in like yesterday and she's like, "Oh, I wanted to see if I have a credit with your store." And I'm like, "What? Like we don't do credits like on our like what does that even mean?" Like I literally talked to my boss, like she said she had a credit. I don't know what the fuck that means. Um, but I've worked with this company for almost 2 years now, so I've just seen so much stuff. But I've had a lot of like really cool things happen too.
Cool. Like what?
One thing, do you know who AOC is? She's like big on the East
Yeah,
Coast.
of course. Alexandria Ortiz
Yes,
Cortez, the great
yeah.
AOC, the
So
great
I was
politician from
working.
New York.
Yep. So I was working in my store on Fifth Avenue, and I was like fixing a shelf for a rack, and a guy like half-assed like greet her. I'm like, oh hey, welcome in, and then I processed who it was, and I was like,
What?
holy fuck! Like I turned around and like cursed at her, and I'm like, I'm sorry. She's like, hi, how are you? I'm like, good, and she's like, I was like, oh my god, it's insane to meet you. Or
What's up,
whatever.
future
And she tried
president?
to give me a handshake, and I hugged her, and I was like, like, I don't know, if like that was appropriate. But I did ask her first. I was like, "Can I hug you?" Because she wanted to reach, try to give me a handshake. I was like, "Can I hug you instead?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." Super sweet. Like I freaked the fuck out. I've
But
never
you
ever
did
done
meet
that. But
famous people. That could be our
Yeah,
president.
yeah, back in New York though. So
Okay,
yeah, so it was really exciting, and I just like I thanked her for like all the stuff she stands up for. If you guys
for
know
sure.
who AOC is, go follow her on Twitter. Like she's so badass. Like that's gonna be like I see her like a future president for like the country type stuff. Like this woman like cares so much about this country and the people, and I love that so much. Not
Yes.
to talk about politics too much, of course, but
Mhm. But as an
yeah,
inspiring person who's overcome obstacles, regardless
yeah, she's
of
Latina.
well,
Like she
that's why
represents
she's
me. Like,
awesome.
yeah, I love like anyone that represents like a minority group that like especially that I'm in.
Yep.
But she's also standing up for so many other minority groups. I just love it so much. And that's something I really want to do. Like I'm like a queer Latino male living in LA, like and I come from like a very like poverty like stricken like city. So my goal is to represent all of that. Like these
Hell
are
yeah.
all these things that I'm not going to switch or change or lie about. I'm not going to pretend my life was like amazing or like things were handed to me, like I said, with like a silver spoon or a golden door open, like things like that. No, I want to be very real because I want people who come from those backgrounds to see that shit can happen, like you can get things done.
Hell
Um,
yeah, you're earning it. You're proving
yeah,
that you could do
absolutely.
that. And like, yeah, as you mentioned, there are of course famous people who were born into fame, aka the Jenners, aka the
Yeah,
Kardashians. And like, they're doing whatever, but you could at least but if it's someone like you who've actually gone through the trenches, worked your way up, we just respect someone like you a little bit more than them? That's how
yeah.
I always looked at it.
I'm just
And
looking forward to like this like autobiography once I make it. I told my friends I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a really good book.
please do,
Um,
please do. I hope you can promote it on the podcast in the next, whenever that is dropping, within the next
yeah,
50 years for that.
for
But I
sure.
mean, yeah, meeting the great Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, AOC,
Love
awesome,
her.
the rep from New York. Boy, and man, that actually is an awesome retail story. No one famous for my from Coles like that, but
Yeah,
I met people who think they're hot shit, but that's why I don't
I've seen
remember
her.
them. Oh man, before we say goodbye, Johnny, and we've been killing it for almost an hour and a half. It's been
Yeah,
having fun,
wow.
so we've been making some moves here. So every podcast I like to end with something called the Proust questionnaire. It's pretty much
Okay.
it's from. Have you actually ever heard of Inside the Actor Studio?
Yes, I have heard of Inside the Actor
So
Studio.
awesome. I'm sure you get a lot of inspiration because they have the great actors from it's been a show, awesome. And it's pretty much out in a Pace University, big the actor studio, prolific acting school.
Right.
And there's this guy James Lipton who would interview all these celebrities and all these actors, I should say.
Yeah.
And yeah, he asked these questions to all of them from past to present, and I'd like to ask you these same questions too. So,
All right.
as an actor yourself, this is extremely fitting.
All right, let's do it.
So, my first question, there's going to be 10 of these, by the way. What is your favorite word?
Favorite word. Um, dang, what is my favorite word? It's like a time thing.
Oh, no,
Um,
no, no. Don't worry. Take your time. Trust me. I pay for the unlimited time. We're going to use it.
that's a hard one. I don't know if I have like a favorite word. Um, Anomaly.
Anomaly. Okay.
Yeah, I like the way that sounds for some reason.
That, oh, yes. Anomaly. I think I'm saying it right. What is your least favorite word?
Moist.
We have had a moist is up there so far, and the few people who said that for sure. Moist. So my third question is not a sexual question, but some people
Okay.
think. But so it's a general question. What turns you on?
Um, Communication. Good
All right.
communication.
That's an excellent answer. Yeah, when I asked this, someone was like, "Oh, I like it when girls wear glasses." Like, nah, bro, don't say it like that.
That's not what I meant.
What turns you off?
um, Cockiness.
Amen to that. I'm surprised you're the first one who said that. I'm surprised no one else has said that. So yes, cockiness turns me off as well. What sound or
Yes.
noise do you love?
Um, I like the sound of ice in a cup. You know, that like, I don't know if I
Yeah.
can do it.
I like that answer. Ice in a cup. What sound or noise do you hate?
Like scratching. You ever seen like Freddy Krueger where he like scratches the
Oh
chalkboard?
yeah.
I get like goosebumps. I don't like that
Every
sound.
time. If you've seen Jaws when they had the crazy sailor do that.
Yeah. Oh my
Hmm.
god. I hate that like grinding metal sound.
Oh boy. Stay away. What is your favorite curse word?
My favorite curse word. Fuck.
I think that is mine as well. What is your what sorry. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
um, Other than like creatively or like what I'm doing now.
Yeah, other than what you're doing now, what else would you like to do? Like, do you want to be a chef, an astronaut?
Um, I wanted to get into production. Like I definitely want to like make my own project, like produce my own like film or something
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be a producer, do the old school acting, directing, right? Producing
Yeah.
your Orson Welles's and your Ben Affleck's out here. I hear
Yep.
you, bro. I hear you. Um, what profession would you not like to do? I'm interested to hear your answer to this.
Um, I would not want to be um in law enforcement.
In law enforcement, no, no to
Yeah, I'm
that.
very much like not big on like the whole concept of some laws.
Hmm. I hear you, man. I hear you. Okay, so my last question for you, Johnny, before we say goodbye.
All right.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Um, what would I like him to say? Geez, that's deep. There's so much
Right?
that
I
I
love
like.
the answer to that.
I'd honestly just hear him say like "good job" or something like that. Like,
Perfect.
just so
Short and
dope.
sweet.
Good job, and then like let's take a shot.
Hey, who wouldn't want to take a shot with God?
Right?
What shot would you get? What would be the one shot with God if you could have? So our bonus question.
Um, Patron tequila. Like I'm a
Patron tequila.
tequila guy.
I want to have something exotic. I want like 500-year-old scotch or something. I want to just feel the history with that, or whatever the most expensive drink I could think of that like the Vikings was able to get, the
Yeah.
vodka or something. But hopefully we don't have to worry about that for a very long time. But
Yeah.
anyways, Johnny, you've been an absolute pleasure to talk to. This has been awesome. One more time, can you just tell us where we can find your music and content?
You can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, all that fun stuff. At Online Lover on those like streaming services. And then for social media, Instagram and TikTok, you can find me at Online Lover Music. And yeah, I have links to all my stuff. YouTube, hit me up. I have links for everything and like my Instagram bio. So.
For sure. And you could go earlier in the podcast as we heard one of his tracks, Cold to Touch. Awesome, awesome banger. I hope when COVID is over, we could go to the clubs when they're playing all the songs we couldn't play in the summer. When WAP can be played or I'm a Savage, let's add Cold to Touch to that playlist as well.
For
But
sure.
seriously, Johnny, is there anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
Um, Chase your dreams, people. Chase your dreams. And thank you so much for having me on here. This is the first time I've done like a podcast thing, and it's super exciting. It's fun. It's different. Yeah, I loved it, and I can't wait to do more things. We got to do like you ever seen how Billie Eilish does like her like interview like once every year.
I do see that. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
want
they
to
get
do this again like next year, same time, and see where I'm at. Like that'd be so dope.
Oh, please, Johnny. I hope we could do this on the reg too. We would love to check
Yeah,
in what
for
you're up to.
sure.
If you have anything to promote as we go, I would love to have you on the reg. Seriously, I think you're awesome, and I think you're inspiring, and I think other people feel the same way. So if you want to keep doing this again, trust me, this is awesome because I just love guests like
Awesome.
you being honest and stuff. So is that a yes?
Yes, that's a yes for
Oh,
sure.
heck
I'm with
yeah,
it.
man. I'm with it too. But seriously though, Johnny, as I said, I've said all the compliments I could say. I could keep going on. But at the end of the day, you're someone I really admire, someone I really respect. I cannot wait to see where you're going in this world, Johnny. Thank you so
Thanks,
much for
I
taking
appreciate
the
it.
time and telling your story. And I can't wait to do this again. Seriously, you are an incredible person, and keep on being yourself.
Yeah. All right, man. It's been real.
It really has been. All right. With that, that's my great friend Johnny, aka Online Lover. Online, yes, right.
You
AKA
got
Online Lover.
it.
Just making sure. But yes, that's my buddy Johnny, Online Lover. Check out his music on all streaming platforms, Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Music. And then you can check out him, follow him on all social media platforms, Online Lover, including Instagram and Twitter. And with that, Johnny, I can't wait to do this again. Stay awesome, and I'll talk to you really soon, buddy.
All right, man. It's been real. Thank you.
My pleasure. So long.